Well, our thing is how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
Let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired. You're 50-0. You walked away from the game. You made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now, you're 43 years old, okay? I want to know where your head is at as it pertains to you.
Well, whatever reason it is that they want to see you, that reason is why you. It's not that you just deserve the money, because it's hard to do.
Right.
I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much.
The man who once proudly called himself the greatest of all time is now facing unexpected turmoil outside the ring. Floyd Mayweather, long celebrated for his flawless record and extravagant lifestyle, has become entangled in controversy as allegations of scams and serious financial trouble begin to surface. These claims have sparked widespread discussion, putting his larger-than-life image under pressure and raising questions about whether the undefeated champion is now fighting his toughest battle beyond boxing.
I did it the hard way. You know, I'm a kid that came from poverty. I can remember being a kid living in Jersey with my mother. 7 of us living in a 1-bedroom. You know, no lights, no heat. Never cried, never complained. Just worked hard to get to where I got to in life. It's been.
When Floyd Mayweather transitioned from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, his entire image underwent a noticeable transformation. He was no longer seen only as a technically gifted boxer with elite defense and sharp ring IQ, but instead as a larger-than-life figure who openly associated his identity with wealth and luxury. The focus slowly shifted away from pure boxing excellence toward showcasing expensive lifestyles, flashy possessions, and financial dominance, turning money into the central theme of his brand and public persona.
If you want to look at guys that never got hit, Floyd went his entire career, got hit hard like 3 or 4 times, ever.
Yeah. When he fought Diego Chico Corrales, which was one of my favorite all-time fights, you know, because it was like there was nothing for Diego to hit, and then all of a sudden he just bounced in his face, bop, left hook from like 5 feet away. That's a Mayweather that I think nobody could possibly maybe beat.
That was the Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. That was before he became Money Mayweather.
He carefully reinvented himself as a global brand built around wealth, power, and luxury rather than just boxing ability. The conversation around Floyd Mayweather gradually moved away from his elite defensive mastery inside the ring and toward his extravagant lifestyle, massive fight purses, and business-driven approach that helped him earn millions per bout and rise to become one of the richest athletes the sport has ever seen.
And it's just complete genius.
Yes.
First of all, from just changing his style, right? He broke his hands a lot. So when he was younger, they called him Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
And then he changed his name to Money. And when he changed his name to Money, he turns heel. Yeah. He became like this guy and everybody wanted to see him get beat.
Yeah.
And he's the most unhittable guy in the history of the sport.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's interesting when fighters figure out ways to do that too, like what Floyd is doing. What Floyd is doing is so interesting. He retires from fighting and he says, I'll just start boxing people who have no chance.
Floyd Mayweather started his career earning around $3 million per fight, a respectable figure but far from the empire he would later build. Everything changed when he made the risky decision to go independent, separating himself from traditional promotional control and betting fully on his own brand. That move triggered a massive financial surge, eventually placing him among the highest-paid athletes in the world. By controlling his promotions, choosing his opponents wisely, and handling his business with precision outside normal boxing structures, Mayweather created a financial legacy that stood apart from anything the sport had seen before.
Floyd Mayweather was the highest paid athlete in the world, and you won't believe why. Early in his career, Floyd partnered with a fight promoter where he was making $3 million a fight, but he wasn't satisfied. He thought he could make way more with pay-per-view and wanted out of his contract. So he bet on himself and paid his manager $750,000 to get out. And you won't believe what happened next, so drop a follow. This would prove to be a huge win for Floyd, and after going independent, he made nearly $1 billion and became the highest paid athlete in the world.
As his fortune grew, it also brought personal pressure that began to affect his closest relationships. According to Floyd Mayweather's father, there was a time before the massive paydays when they never experienced serious conflict. That dynamic changed once the money started flowing, as Floyd's spending habits became increasingly excessive and uncontrolled. Luxury cars, expensive properties, and non-stop high-end purchases turned into a constant focus, creating distance and frustration within the family. His father has openly suggested that the introduction of extreme wealth can alter a person's priorities, and in Floyd's case, it became a source of strain rather than unity.
We have never had an argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. We was on HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about now? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, it is or it ain't. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that. People get money, man. Things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money.
As Floyd Mayweather's wealth continued to expand, many felt his confidence slowly crossed into arrogance, a shift that reportedly cost him several close relationships, including longtime friendships. The change did not go unnoticed within the boxing community, as Mike Tyson publicly criticized what he saw as an inflated ego rather than something to admire. Tyson emphasized that no amount of money justifies losing touch with reality, warning that unchecked arrogance can be dangerous, especially for someone sitting on an enormous fortune and global influence.
Floyd, though.
Huh?
How do you feel about
Floyd?
Awesome
fighter, great fighter. You know, he's a little too into himself. You know, he should be. I was the same way too, but you have to come to reality some way. You have to bring your head down to God. We're nothing to be fucking arrogant. You expect us to be ignorant and arrogant. Look where we came from.
That's why I asked the question earlier about you mentoring fighters, because I feel like Floyd looked at you growing up like every other fighter. And the persona and the lifestyle was like, growing up in the hood, we looked at it like, that's Mike Tyson. We see the cars, the jewelry, the flair. Like you was a movie star. You was a hero.
Floyd Mayweather's close friendship with rapper 50 Cent was once seen as one of the strongest and most publicized relationships in sports and entertainment. However, as Floyd's fortune continued to grow, visible cracks began to form between the two. According to 50 Cent, Mayweather's constant obsession with money eventually became too much to tolerate, changing the dynamic of their bond. Reports suggest Floyd even told him that he never asked for his help, a statement that deeply damaged their long-standing friendship. Many believe this fallout stemmed from Floyd's increasing fixation on wealth, placing money above loyalty, legacy, and the people who stood by him long before the fame and fortune reached their peak.
And they're going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you had already invested.
Yeah. Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail, right? So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardlessly. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, you know, to give me the other half of it? Why I gotta ask you for it?
Right.
And then when he,
are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, you know, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh man.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, "What a prize fighter fight for?" And I'm like, and he said, "The prize." So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Floyd Mayweather also saw his relationship collapse with one of his most promising proteges, boxer Gervonta Davis, better known as Tank. Davis later expressed that he felt taken advantage of during their time together, claiming that Mayweather repeatedly placed him in situations where he remained dependent on Floyd's guidance and control. Despite generating significant revenue from his fights, Tank has suggested that he was not compensated fairly, which ultimately pushed him to cut ties and move forward without Mayweather's influence.
Or I'm gonna be back asking you for money. Nah, why would I do that? I give her a couple dollars. I take some, whatever, whenever you need some money. You feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get her out the hood, that's what I did.
Like, I had to learn that coming up that, like, a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And, like, to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But, like, to somebody to understand, you understand, like, what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Like, because if I gotta put you in a position that always need me, you always gotta, I'm gonna just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. Like, if I'm a, like, what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot, and I know you gonna go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that $48 of plot power, I'ma always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really just put me in a position to be able to, you know, make my own thing. And I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. The people that's over top of me, I mean, like I was signed to him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person that he said, okay, cool, I see what's going on. That's when he started taking over my career.
Tank Davis also spoke about Floyd Mayweather's struggle with seeing others succeed beyond him, suggesting that jealousy became a recurring issue as he grew wealthier and more powerful. According to Tank, Mayweather would often resent fighters who earned more or were celebrated as greater in the public eye, creating tension and competition even off the ring. He reportedly went as far as to claim that legends like Muhammad Ali were not better than him, highlighting the extreme confidence and perhaps insecurity that came with his unmatched success and fortune.
I'm on record to say this. Out of all these guys in the history of boxing, I've accomplished more than every fighter in the history of boxing.
Okay, Ali.
Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali when he only had 7 fights.
Yes.
And if we really tell the truth, if we really tell the truth,
well, that's what you're here for. You're here to tell the truth.
What's the heavyweight guy that Ali fought 3 times? Ken Norton, actually.
Ken Norton.
Ken Norton really beat Ali all 3 times. Go back and look at the fights. I mean, we just telling the truth. And I love Ali, of course.
Mayweather's arrogance went beyond personal relationships, as he openly flaunted his wealth and made bold claims about being the greatest, regardless of others' achievements. His flashy lifestyle and controversial statements fueled public criticism, making him one of the most polarizing and widely disliked figures in boxing history.
In all of my career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't, okay, and to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Burt Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right back.
Floyd's brash attitude and constant display of wealth quickly made him one of the most disliked figures in boxing history. His refusal to respond to criticism, combined with his insistence that he didn't care about public opinion and would keep fighting in exhibitions or traditional bouts, only deepened the divide. This indifference fueled debate among fans and commentators alike, leaving many to question his true motivations and further cementing his polarizing reputation.
Fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And
my
like,
most expensive watch that I currently own is $18 million. One watch.
and so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes. Yeah, it creates envy, and you want him to lose. But
after retiring from professional boxing, Floyd shifted his focus to exhibition matches, But these fights drew heavy criticism. Many argued that by facing lesser-known opponents primarily for the paycheck, he was risking and even tarnishing the legacy he had built over decades, turning what could have been celebrated moments into controversial spectacles.
Floyd, what does it mean for you to go out on your terms, not on anybody else's terms, but you to make the decision, you know what, this is it, I don't care what all you guys say, I'm out of here, I'm done?
I mean, I think I just had a game plan. I had a brilliant game plan. The game plan was to be very outspoken. You know, I was born with personality. I was born with charisma. Speak my mind. Speak from the heart. You know, I don't hate or dislike anyone. But I want to go out there, you know, and just do what I have to do inside that square circle. Choose a tremendous team on the outside that's going to help me take things to the next level, and that's what I do.
His exhibition fights quickly gained a reputation as money-driven events, with critics arguing that Floyd prioritized securing the largest share of the earnings over delivering competitive or meaningful matches for fans. These bouts were seen less as sporting challenges and more as strategic financial moves, further fueling debate about his motivations in the later stages of his career.
The shot. But you know what it is? I think obviously with Floyd, he gets the biggest percentage of the purse, isn't it?
Yeah, but he can still get the biggest percentage of the purse.
Yeah, but Ricky Hatton's gonna want more. He'll want more. He'll want more.
He'll want more.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when they fought in their heyday, Floyd got more.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know what I'm saying?
No, but Floyd wants like 95% more. 90% more. You know what I'm saying? It's not like...
He's like 95-5. Yeah, that's how he likes to do it, isn't it? Because I'm not going to lie, if Floyd fought Ricky, both of them now, catch weight, 154, O2 Arena, it will sell out.
It will sell out.
Floyd's reputation took another hit as allegations surfaced that he failed to pay his opponents the full amounts promised for exhibition matches. Fighters like Deji and Logan Paul publicly claimed they never received the complete payouts agreed upon, casting further doubt on Mayweather's integrity and fueling criticism that his focus was more on profit than fairness or sportsmanship.
Because I see a lot of people, people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you
a boxing thing?
You don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy going,
now,
I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters. They don't have to wait for. That was the big problem in the past, is that these boxing promoters would come in and they wouldn't make as much money as they thought they were going to do, so they would stiff the fighters and not pay the guys. And that's why these regulations are in place and these different...
Over time, the spotlight on Floyd Mayweather began to dim, and the hype that once surrounded him started to fade. While he had been a dominant force in the boxing world, his actions outside the ring increasingly overshadowed his achievements inside it. Allegations of involvement in a $42 million scam, along with growing evidence of questionable financial dealings, further damaged his reputation. Reports even suggested that Mayweather was stranded in Dubai due to unpaid debts, underscoring the seriousness of his financial troubles and marking a sharp contrast to the image of wealth and control he had long projected.
Some drama going on about Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai. However, that man was at Game 5 of the Clippers game. He's claiming that he is stuck in Dubai because there's debts that he has to pay off and they're not letting him leave. And we're sitting at Game 5 and I look over and I'm like, dude, that's Floyd Mayweather. Royce takes a video of Floyd Mayweather at the Clippers game, posts it on his TikTok. It goes viral. He posts 2 videos, both go viral. And the comments, nobody is believing him. They're like, that's not really Floyd. That's a clone. Floyd stuck in Dubai. And the crazy thing was, usually when you're at these games, they'll have like, oh, special guest, celebrity of the night. They didn't show Floyd on the thing. So, but we have it on camera. But go check out Royce's videos if you guys...
Floyd Mayweather spent years carefully building his image as the highest paid athlete in the world, constantly emphasizing his wealth and success. He openly boasted about his earnings, claiming that no other athlete in sports history could rival the financial heights he had reached, reinforcing the persona of unmatched dominance both inside and outside the ring.
What did you see when you watched that fight?
Look, Floyd needs to keep doing what he's doing, which is fighting complete tomato cans who we've never heard of before. I've never seen anybody in the history of America get so rich and so famous out of having complete wimps throwing punch at their faces. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, it's happened before. What about Rihanna? Shame on you. Blasphemous. I will not stand for that. I will not stand for that. But, however, boxing has a misconception. Too soon?
Chael Sonnen, a well-known fighter and analyst, openly criticized Floyd Mayweather's choice to keep participating in exhibition bouts, calling it a decision motivated purely by money. Sonnen argued that with billions already earned, Floyd had no real reason to step into the ring for financial gain alone. According to Sonnen, this approach represented a betrayal of his own legacy, as it appeared Floyd was prioritizing personal profit over the honor, respect, and reputation he had built throughout his career.
Floyd is still getting in there as recently as this weekend because he needed the money.
You think Floyd's fighting because he needs the money?
Yeah.
Really? Why? He think he blew through all of his money? Get the fuck.
Well, he blew through a lot of it, but I'm sharing for you, it wasn't what you thought it was
He
to
blew
start
through
with.
it and wasn't making as much as he
they're
says.
claiming he was doing $100 million a fight, and I'm claiming for you, he in his whole career has made about $100 million. There's a very wow.
You know, Floyd had this long career. I could imagine him making more than $100 million.
I understand that. Floyd was not Muhammad Ali, and Floyd wasn't Mike Tyson. I got it. I know people think he made 130 in a night. I'm sharing with you, he didn't, and no boxer has. No boxer's ever made 130 million in one night. This is silly. Floyd Mayweather has closed down a mall. He has rented out the entire mall, and he spent $15 million. The proof that this happened is Floyd in a mall and Floyd with a bag of cash that probably had about 100 grand in it. He says, man, I'm a VIP, I'm a VP, I'm a VVVVIP. Do you want to know why he was whispering, guys? He was whispering so that he didn't disrupt the employees and fellow shoppers at the mall. It's okay. This is a gimmick. Floyd did everything that Floyd is supposed to do. It's strange that a 50-year-old man would continue to do what he did when he was 28 years old. That's strange.
Eddie Hearn, a prominent boxing promoter, openly criticized Floyd Mayweather's approach, describing his fights as NAF and suggesting that Floyd prioritized pay-per-view profits over delivering genuine competition for the fans. Hearn argued that by shifting from a focused, competitive boxer to a money-driven entertainer, Mayweather had compromised the integrity of his career, turning what was once celebrated skill and dominance into events centered more on financial gain than the sport itself.
Somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000. Something like that, if that.
I believe so.
We've had some bad ones. But this is, I've seen a map, someone posted a map yesterday. I mean, I don't know anyone that even knows Floyd Mayweather is fighting on Saturday. Who is putting the money up for these events? Like, I think that the Mayweather fights are so f***ing naff, to be honest with you. But I don't actually mind, like, at least Aaron Chalmers will go out and he can box and he'll have a go and like whatever. But literally no one knows that is even happening. Someone has hired out the O2 Arena thinking they're going to sell out the O2 Arena with Floyd Mayweather and they are going to do a couple of 100,000 buys on pay-per-view. It's either going to get cancelled before Saturday or someone is going to do their absolute conkers, or people are not going to get paid.
After years of lavish spending and amassing expensive assets, Floyd Mayweather's fortune has reportedly diminished, leaving him in a precarious financial position. His legendary career is long over, and his attempts to remain relevant through exhibition fights have drawn heavy criticism. The situation worsened when he became linked to a $42 million scam, generating widespread backlash. Reports from Business Insider further challenged his claims of owning 62 buildings, revealing he only held partial ownership of some, casting doubt on his public image. This combination of failed financial management and constant boasting about wealth has fueled accusations of dishonesty, leaving many to question the truth behind the persona Floyd spent decades building.
There is a little bit of embellishing that you kind of have to do in order to get your foot in the door with some of these folks, because they otherwise ain't gonna deal with you. So it does require a little bit of fake it till you make it. I'm not saying that that report is true. I'm just simply saying that if there were some validity to that, that's not really the end of the world. He ain't lying about having ownership. He just may have embellished the truth about having no partners. Also, you got people calling him broke, which is crazy to me, man.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and we'll catch you in the next one.